Good morning. Thursday morning. I have a bonkers day today. Back-to-back meetings all day. This morning I'm meeting an American large enterprise that's looking to kind of break into the Israeli tech scene here. After that, I'm going to meet Daniel Schreiber, the CEO of Lemonade, probably the hottest company in Israel. I was speaking to Shai, his co-founder, this morning, and he said Daniel's the smartest and best speaker that I know, which is interesting because Shai is one of the smartest and best speakers that I know. Lemonade is a crazy company. Anyway, several meetings after that. Then I have a speaking engagement later this afternoon to some American students, and a couple of more meetings, and then the weekend. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy day. Let's do this. Sarona, one of the cooler places in Tel Aviv, and pretty much the home of every tech company. Everybody's moving here now, so I'm very early to my meeting. Gonna go hang out at WeWork Sarona before my 9 o'clock. Meeting, as I mentioned, was with a large American enterprise. I could not bring the camera into that meeting, but now I'm going to meet Daniel from Lemonade. Lemonade, all I can say is they're doing to insurance what Uber did to transportation. Honestly, no one likes their insurance company. They're changing that. Not much else to say. You'll meet the guy. Super humble, super duper smart, sick company. I think they raised $180 million in the last year from the biggest names out there. Very, very excited to meet him. Very. This is my friend Yael. What do you do here?
I lead content and communications for
What time is it in the morning right now? You've been watching on you? 10 a.m.
Yeah.
All right, so I just turned the camera on her and didn't ask her permission or anything, so you'll forgive me for doing that. But real quick, what is Lemonade?
Lemonade is a full stack insurance company powered by artificial intelligence and behavioral economics and driven by social good.
Wow, how much better would you have been had it not been 10 a.m.? That was really good. Amazing. All right, let's go meet Daniel. This is the new office also. Amazing. All right, so I am at what I've spoken about Lemonade many times on the vlog, and I say that I genuinely believe, and maybe I'll get in trouble for saying this because I do work with some companies, that you're the hottest company in Israel. Sorry if that's embarrassing, or you're maybe too humble to hear those words, but to me, there are many, many companies out there that are taking something like we talked about before that's a space we've all had in our lives forever. We've always done communication, we've always done transportation, we've always done hospitality, but we've never really thought about it. Who has any emotion about taxis? Nobody cares, right? Comes along Uber and says, we're gonna change that. Now, in your case, insurance is actually a lot worse than that because we're not indifferent to our insurance companies. Mm-hmm. We actually, when I say the word insurance to someone, their instant reaction is, ugh. Yeah. It's that, because not only are we indifferent, people don't like that industry, and rightfully so, by the way. So to me, this has the most explosive potential of any company in this country, hands down, in my opinion. And by the way, it's not just my opinion. I mean, what you've accomplished in the short time since you guys launched this thing, in terms of your investors, in terms of traction, in terms of scaling, is, and I just said to Yael, I don't remember another company that has built a brand this fast.
Thank you.
I'm just getting started. Okay. Now, I'm going to shut up for 1 second because I'm here to talk to you and hear from you, but just give me a minute and a half of who you are. What's your background? Where are you from? Talk to me.
Sure. Well, my name's Daniel Schreiber. I'm one of the founders here at Lemonade, Shai Wininger being my partner in founding.
We'll talk about Shai in a second.
Sure. My English has the kind of telltale signs that I'm an ex-Brit.
Okay.
But I haven't lived there for a bunch of years, so the accent has suffered some. But I feel a bit like a citizen of the world because although I grew up in England, I also grew up partially in Israel, and I've lived in California 3 times. So California, Silicon Valley is kind of home away from home. We tend to spend our summers out there. I have 3 boys together with my wonderful wife Daniela.
So
my friend is Californian.
So not for professional, like personal. You just.
Well, it's always mingles, doesn't it?
Right.
So
good point.
Yeah. So for me, it's professional. For my wife, you can take the girl out of California, but you can't take California out of the girl.
So chill.
She needs a fix of Silicon Valley.
So relaxed. It's like when I go to Palo Alto, I'm like, why can't we bring a little bit of this tranquility? Anyway, it's a topic for another time, but okay, go on, yes.
Yeah, and today I split my time between Tel Aviv and New York. Our team is split roughly 50-50, and my time is split almost that way as well. I'm a recovering attorney. So I've been clean for like 20 years, but I did start off as a corporate commercial attorney.
Okay.
And I've been in tech ever since. I've been in tech. I started my first startup in like 97, so just over 20 years ago, and been loving what I've been doing ever since.
Well, let's give me some names of the companies you've been involved in over the last couple of years.
So prior to Lemonade, I was at 4 years. I was president at a company called PowerMat, which was trying to introduce wireless power.
Starbucks.
It's in all the Starbucks, and it's in every Samsung, and now it's in every iPhone as well. So I was pretty heavily involved in all those relationships and then building up that ecosystem. Prior to that, I was at SanDisk.
Sure. JJ. Right? JJ Sussman?
JJ Sussman, amongst others, 5,000 people.
Arya Murgi is a god. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I love Arya Murgi. I'm just telling you.
He was at M Systems.
M Systems, that was quite right. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. He was at M Systems, which was acquired by SanDisk. So I was at SanDisk for a bunch of years. I ran corporate marketing there on a global basis, and I ran one of the business units there. Had a fabulous time.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. So you know your stuff. You know your stuff. You won't admit it, but you know your stuff. Okay. So this is the problem, though. Like, a lot of times CEOs in the world are a lot of noise and no. Clearly, in this case, it's the opposite. We got to work on that, Daniel. But it's a topic for another time.
See what I can do. Thanks.
Why is this company called Lemonade?
It was Shai's brainchild. I had some stupid name, some 3-letter acronym.
Oh, I'm so curious.
I'm embarrassed. No.
Off
It's
camera.
so embarrassing. Off camera. And he came up with Lemonade, and of course it's a play on when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Okay, so sorry, yes, continue that sentence.
I was going to say it's an Americanism. People outside of America don't get the reference, but both in the sense, it actually has a bunch of associations that we really like. So there's the lemonade stand, the social communal aspect. There's when life gives you lemons, so when bad things happen, insurance is there to help. There's the idea that insurance itself is a bit of a lemon. Can you turn that into lemonade? So
love it. Okay, just
it worked for us.
A sentence or two on Shai. Shai and I know each other, I don't know, probably 10 years, in the ecosystem, obviously. But as entrepreneurs in this country go, there's not, you don't get much better than Shai. What's his background, real quick?
I'd say not in this country. I'd say globally, there aren't many people like Shai.
You know what I love about you guys? Let me tell you what I love about you guys. I was talking to Shai this morning at 6:30 a.m. and I said to him, I don't know if I assume this isn't that sensitive. I said to him, I'm like, I'm gonna see you this morning. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna be in the office. I was like, is there anything specific you want me to focus on when I talk to Daniel? He's like, Daniel's the smartest guy and the best speaker that I know. And then here you guys are mefargening to each other. Mefargen is like, you say that in English. There's no word for it, but it's like giving props. There you go. So you guys that give each other props. It's really cute. I know, I'm saying it sarcastically, but I actually really like that you guys are so.
Well,
I love that.
Let me say a word about it. Actually, today is our anniversary. We met 3 years ago today.
So cute.
Yeah.
Romance.
So, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No, but I don't know if you told me this or someone else told me that when you guys are brainstorming, it's like nothing they've ever seen. The two of you guys work together in a way that's okay. But Shai's the co-founder of Fiverr, which is at the in the top for sure. No matter how you want to look at it, the top 10 Israeli companies globally. I don't know. Again, depends how you want to look at it. Valuation, it doesn't matter. They're massive brand, massive success.
Phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely.
Micha Kaufman is a legend, amazing company. So he was the founder of that. Before that, where was he? Before Fiverr?
I can't remember. He's been a serial entrepreneur. He's
been doing this forever. All right, so let's swing back to Lemonade. What is going on here? What is Lemonade? I know nothing about Lemonade. Tell me what Lemonade is.
I think it's one of the hottest companies, but you know nothing about it.
I do, but I just want they know. Well, they also know about Lemonade. But what is Lemonade? Let's say I know nothing about it.
So Lemonade is an attempt to build a new kind of insurance company. And it really is built from the ground up. So we're not selling technology to insurance companies. We're not trying to be a front end to traditional insurance companies. We're trying to go back to basics and think about, would you build an insurance company that way, starting from scratch today if you were legacy free? And we actually had the advantage, both Shai and myself don't come from an insurance background. So getting into a room and thinking about this, we had the advantage of thinking things in a kind of virgin way, starting from scratch, simply because we were ignorant. And what you might have thought would be a smart thing to do is, well, if you know nothing about insurance, go to school, go swat up about insurance. And we did the exact opposite. We said, no, what we really need to do is milk our ignorance for all it's worth and take advantage of that to go back to basics and think about things in a fundamental way.
That's actually honestly brilliant, because you get corrupted by not, if a space is so corrupted and you're an expert on that space, you can't even think objectively as a consumer.
Absolutely.
And I remember I was sitting in WeWork with Shai, I think it was probably a week or two before you launched, and he showed me this app, and I'm like, this is not an insurance app. What am I looking at? Like, you literally looked at this from the consumer's perspective and said, what are the pains? Let's look at it from the user's, not as an insurance company. And that is, I think, a fundamental, in my opinion, something I've never heard anybody say before, because everyone's like, I need to acquire expertise. No, don't acquire expertise. Acquire, you're a consumer, think as a user, what would a user want? And that's what we need to build. And that's brilliant. I think Steve Jobs was a big, we know what users want. They don't even know what they want themselves. We're gonna build the best product, period. And I think that's, in my opinion, an unbelievable lesson I've never learned. So just for that, this interview was, all right, go on, I'm listening, yes.
Yeah, so part of it was the product and the experience and stuff like that, absolutely. And it's delightful. Not a word that you think about in the context of insurance. When you play the word association game with the word insurance, you come up with all different ones. Delightful isn't one of them. And we wanted to create something lovable and something instantaneous and a whole bunch of words that aren't typically associated with insurance. But for us, it went a bit deeper, which was we actually came to the conclusion that there was something flawed in the business model of insurance, which is why we felt that you need to build it from scratch. Insurance at a basic level means that you're making a claim of me, you pay me every year, and then you make a claim of me and I pay you money back. But if I don't pay that money back, I get to keep it. So actually, at a very basic level, there's a conflict, that's right, and we're fighting over the same coin. And insurance executives get upset when I talk about this. And I say to them, guys, it's not the players, it's the game. And if you believe in game theory, if you buy that behaviors ultimately will follow incentives, if you think that conflicts of interest are gonna manifest no matter how good the people on top, then you have to think about rebuilding the game, changing the rules of the game. And we don't for a second believe that our moral fiber is any way superior to that of the guys next to us. But that then forces us to tie our hands, to recognize the human frailty and say, can we build a business model that I can't screw my customer even if I want to? I can't pocket that money. I'm never gonna be able to benefit by taking advantage of my customer. And that allowed us to rethink some of the fundamentals.
Yeah. That we're like completing each other's senses. This is really cute. Change the fundamental, like you said, ground up. Like this isn't, you didn't just take in something and put band-aids on it.
Yeah.
You literally just uprooted the whole concept of insurance, which is, if I don't pay you your money, I get to keep this money. Forget that. It's no longer the case. So that's one facet, one element of Lemonade. My understanding, there's a whole bunch of others. There's the charity aspect, which is unbelievable. Tell me about that a little bit.
Sure. So if we're not going to keep that money, where's it going to go? Are we going to throw it into the sea, or can we do something better with it? So what we decided very early on, and we worked with Professor Dan Ariely, who was part of our founding team, and really thought through the behavioral economics of this to say, what is it about insurance today that brings out the devil in people? And it does. We think about in the tech sector, not just, everyone's worried about fraud. The hackers from the Ukraine, from Moscow, from China, who are coming in there stealing credit cards, fake identities, these farms that do nothing but fake stuff. Insurance suffers from fraud. It's a huge, huge, huge problem, but the fraudsters are not the guys overseas hacking in through the air conditioning vents and God knows what vulnerabilities they find. It's people like you and me who feel that we're entitled to embellish our claims. And we just feel, in fact, 25% of Americans when surveyed say it's fine to embellish claims. I think the other 75% were brought up not to admit that kind of thing to strangers.
That's an interesting statistic.
Yeah, so what happens is we are law-abiding citizens, if we kind of map it, and then it comes to insurance, we let the devil loose, and then we go back to being law-abiding citizens. And that raises an intellectual question. What is it about insurance that makes us behave poorly? And again, it comes back to this sense that it isn't a level playing field, that you're against me, and that I have to embellish in order to get what I rightly deserve.
Zero sum.
And I don't trust you. Zero sum, that's right, it's a win-lose, I have to fight you. So with the charity for us is not some embellishment or some kind of add-on to our business model. Buy something from me, I'll give something to them. It's actually an integral part of the business model, because what it says is the following. When you're making a claim, when you onboard with us, we ask you which charity do you want to support. So you say, I want to support the firefighters or women in need or the International Red Cross or whatever charity you choose, my kids' school. 3 years later, you're making a claim, and the app actually shows you, it says, hey, Hillel, remember, just before you make the claim, please remember that unclaimed money is going to go to your kid's high school. Now, that can affect a pretty dramatic change in how you perceive the relationship. Now, it's not me against the machine. It's me against my kid's school.
Brilliant.
And that can moderate your behavior. So the charities for us are actually an integral part of building a trustful, trusting relationship.
So, okay, let me take a quick turn here in this conversation. So you came up with this idea. You and Shai came up with this idea a year and a half ago?
2 years, two and a half years.
2.5 years ago, you came up with the idea. You launched a year and a half ago, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. On a personal level right now, let's see if I can get this information out. How does it feel, honestly, this is my curiosity. How does it feel to have come up with an idea 2.5 years ago and today be funded by the world's most recognized and the most respected investors across the world? How does it feel to know that you came up with an idea that had such legs that this thing is going to fundamentally change the world? How does that feel on a personal level? It's got to be the most satisfying thing in the world.
I'll share with you 2 or 3 feelings. One is, I think we feel very blessed. We really do. It beats working. We're having fun. We come into the office every day. We're working with fabulous people, creative people, doing stuff that's meaningful. It doesn't get better than that. So that's kind of one piece, no question. Deeply satisfying. The other thing I feel is that people have been very gracious. Our customers have been very trusting. Buying insurance from a company that didn't exist just a short
Called Lemonade.
Called Lemonade.
It's like, what?
Juvenile name.
Yeah.
They've been very trusting. Investors have put a lot of trust in us. The press has been very trusting. So I keep reminding myself and our team, we haven't earned that yet. We're still a young company. Insurance is going to be measured, the success of insurance is going to be measured over a long time frame. So it also puts a burden on us to live up to all that faith that's been placed in us, to earn it, to cash in that check.
You know, it's like I'm telling you, it's like a so refreshing for me as a person that sees so many entrepreneurs. And you know, I don't mean to disrespect at all to the people that I meet, and amazing people. A lot of them are very young. It's great, and they're making mistakes, and they know they're making mistakes and learning. But like to sit with you and to hear this outlook, like you're giving us respect, you're funding us. We have to earn that. That's not something that I hear often. It's just refreshing. I just wanted to say that. But okay, so can you tell me just like in 2 words, who are the you know, this is public information, so we're not talking about numbers here, but who are your investors for that? You know, you've raised, what, 180? How much did you guys raise?
Yeah.
$180 million in a year and a half, which is unheard of in this country for sure. Can you tell me a little bit about your investors?
Yeah, absolutely. And we really are blessed with fabulous investors. And one of the lessons, Shai and I are both in our 40s, we've been doing this for a while, and we learned that who your investors are is cardinally important, and not just the brand name, but which partner it is. And ultimately, this is a form of marriage, and you have to be able to really live with each other through good times and bad, and trust each other in a deep way. And we do feel very, very blessed by the investors that we have around the table. We were picky, and we feel like that effort kind of rewarded us as well. So our seed round was done by Sequoia, Chaim Sadka from Sequoia here, and Michael Eisenberg from Aleph. And Michael and Aleph have a very special place in the history of the company because they introduced me and Shai. It was Michael who introduced us.
Wow, I did not know that.
So he's really been with us since before the company got started. So that was our seed round. It was an unusually large seed round. It was just Shai and myself. We hadn't even incorporated yet, and we raised $13 million from those 2 players. It was the largest seed in Sequoia's history, and really it's because insurance requires it. It is a bold undertaking to try and create a new kind of an insurance company. Then, as we were putting in place reinsurance agreements, we have a unique set of reinsurance agreements with some of the most phenomenal reinsurance companies in the world. One of them that owns the largest Lloyd's syndicate in London is called Excel Catlin, and they really helped us put together a whole reinsurance program to be able to take a flat 20% fee and give back what's left and not have to dip into your pocket if there's not enough. You have to create a very novel reinsurance program. So Excel, through their VC arm, Excel Innovate, invested in us as well. That was kind of an intermediate round, strategic round. And Tom Hutton from there sits on our board. He's a phenomenal guy, the only guy who speaks technology and insurance without an accent. He's truly bilingual. Then our next big round was led by General Catalyst. So Joel Cutler, one of the founding members there, founding guys at GC, sits on our board. Phenomenal guy. GC is one of the most phenomenal funds in the world, I believe. And they led a round that Google participated in, and Thrive Capital, and Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
Oh, Ashton was Sound Ventures? I didn't know Sound invested you guys.
Absolutely.
Did I miss that? Not good. I'm doing my job.
You slip one past you.
By the way, I want to tell you something. Just a shout out. I love Sound Ventures, especially Effie. I love Effie. Like anyway, it's a topic for another time, but I'm a big fan of them and their guy here. I like them a lot. But anyway, yes.
So that round had a bunch of really phenomenal people. Tusk Ventures, I don't know if you know those guys.
I heard about them.
They were instrumental in helping us get all our licensing agreements in place. And then we did just now. We announced this round led by SoftBank. So that was our third round.
I mean, top investors in the world.
Yeah.
That's not even debatable. It's honestly inspiring to watch. I'm not just saying that, really is inspiring to watch. The last question I want to ask is, for the sake of my EDD of my viewers here, because we're at 17 minutes and my editor is going to murder me because he's like, keep under 10 minutes, but this is a little bit of a remarkable interview. Last question, and I asked Yael this several times. What are your main challenges now?
I'm going to answer, but I'm going to give you the scenic route.
Okay. Insurance
is a fascinating space. The same names that dominate today dominated 100 years ago. The State Farms, Allstate, Farmers, all the guys with the word state and farm in them. They've been around in the era of the horse-drawn carriage. And in Europe, it's the same. AXA, it's changed its name, but it's a 200-year-old company. Allianz, 128, 130 years. Aviva in the UK is over 300 years old. So you have these companies that do $100 billion or more sometimes, and have been around for 100, 200, 300 years. How many industries are there that is dominated by companies that have been around for 100, 200, 300 years?
It's just downright ridiculous. Sorry.
I think that there's going to be a changing of the guards. I do. And leave lemonade aside for a second. I think that because of the way data is today generated, companies that are on a digital substrate and have data at their core have a structural advantage in a way that is disproportionate for insurance. What is insurance? At its core, it's statistics. I'm not selling you anything else. I'm using statistics, and statistics is fed by data. And companies that are broker-based and paper-based and fax-based are missing 95% of the data that they could be using. Whereas companies that are digital throughout their life cycle, that sell a product through a digital interface, that manage claims digitally, that have built the whole thing from scratch digitally, not only do they have a delightful experience and they can get to consumers at a low cost of acquisition and they can settle claims in 3 seconds instead of 3 months, but actually the data that they gather is far more powerful, and that means that ultimately they become better insurance companies than traditional insurance companies. And for that reason, I think that we're heading for a changing of the guards at a fundamental level, and that is the goal of Lemonade ultimately. We would like to create a global brand that also, wouldn't it be nice if it lasts for the next 200-300 years and became of those kind of orders of magnitude?
So that's your goal, and that's your biggest challenge, scaling at that level.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of hubris in that. It's a big goal, but that's really what we're shooting for.
Unbelievable. And there was that story about the jacket.
Yeah.
Well, tell me real quick, what was the story there?
Well, that was the first time that we paid a claim instantaneously. We now do it many times a day. But there was a guy called Brandon in New York, and his parka coat was stolen. And he filed a claim on the app, and 3 seconds after pressing submit, the money was in his bank account.
3 seconds, literally.
Literally, because it's all done by AI. His claim was managed, processed, anti-fraud algorithms run on it.
It's so crazy. Like, think about the way insurance works, like 3 years till you see your money.
That's right.
3 seconds. Unbelievable.
And today about a third of our claims are paid within 3 seconds.
That's an outrageous statistic. You know, when you speak, I can't help but hear Johnny Ive. I can't help it. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. I don't know, it's a British thing.
It's a British thing.
No, you have say aluminium. Anyway, no, but the thing is though, so, you know, as Apple's very well known, they don't talk about features and technology, they talk about the experience, but I'm going to ask you anyway, and if you don't want to talk about it, we don't talk about it. Just like in 2 sentences, what's the technology here? The IP. Can you talk about that, or you'd rather not even get into it?
Well, I'll tell you, we built everything from scratch. So there's not a single line of code here that's off the shelf. I remember, I hope you won't mind me sharing this story, but early on we were looking at a buy versus build kind of decision on the different systems that run insurance companies. And I think Shai assessed about 15 different companies. And he was really perplexed. He'd leave the meeting saying, I just don't get it. He says, we can code this on my Apple Watch while I'm driving home. He was like, this isn't that complex.
Amazing.
And so we built from scratch all of the systems, but the main thing is that we've really integrated AI into the very core of how we run our company. And part of it is stuff that is visible to you. So Maya is a bot that will sell you insurance if you buy insurance. Jim is our bot who will pay your claims. But we actually use bots internally. So a lot of our internal processes, we don't have DevOps. DevOps is done by Cooper, our internal bot. So we do a lot of QA through bots. A lot of the internal work is run that way.
I have a crush on this company. It's a problem. No, so here's the thing, and I'm going to sum up. Here's the thing, right? We have all the time, we hear about new technologies. Let's talk about VR, right? VR. No one's walking around with a headset on their heads. So we have the technology, we don't know what to do with it yet. AI, you know, there's a lot of talk about AI. We have AI, but you're using AI to fundamentally make our world better. And that to me, out of all the things we talked about, that to me is the most interesting thing. You're using the cutting edge technology that we all have and we all talk about and everyone writes about. People don't really know what to do with it yet. There are other companies that are doing cool things with AI, but this is changing everything. So that to me is what's most fascinating. I cannot thank you enough for this interview. It was awesome. And you know, I'm going to say on camera what I've said off camera to you 350 times, and to Yael, and to Shai. Let me know I can help. Let me know I want to help you guys. This is like, it's an unbelievable story. The world, whoever has not heard it yet, the 3 people in the world that have not heard about Lemonade, need to hear it. So let me know I can help. Good luck with everything, and you know, just don't forget the little people, because this company is like, anyway, good luck really, and thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Phil.
Did I or did I not tell you that was going to be an amazing interview, and that Lemonade is outrageous? That dude is smart. Now going to my next meeting, then lunch, and then another speaking gig. But due to the lengthy nature of that interview, I'm gonna keep the rest of the footage for the rest of the day to a minimum. But wow, that dude is wow. All right, made it to the venue where I'll be speaking. Pretty cool looking place. Talk starts in 15 minutes. All right, good news. Smaller auditorium. Got 30 students or 30 people in the audience, so no reason to be talking in a massive auditorium like over there. They'll be here in a minute. Hey, we just finished the talk. How was the talk? Yo! How was the talk? That's what I'm talking about. Yes! That was yes. Do that again. Do that again. Do that again. Come on. Yes. 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 All right, made it home. Was a good day. Was a great week. Pretty happy that the weekend is here. Pretty happy with the productivity of this week. All in all, pretty happy. See you next week.